Well, a new Pew Research Center poll finding that nearly 80% of Americans think the Biden administration is doing a bad job at handling the surge of migrants at the border. That is compared to just 18% who say they're doing a good job. Texas Congressman Keith Self is introducing a bill this week that prevents the Federal Aviation Administration from authorizing airports to house illegal immigrants. In recent months, thousands of migrants have been living at airports in New York City, Boston, and Chicago. Let's bring in Texas Congressman Keith Self. He's a member of the House Veterans Affairs and Foreign Affairs Committees. He's also a retired Army Special Forces Lieutenant Colonel. So, Congressman, this is interesting. So this is a bill that you're introducing, but you're in Texas, and the migrant airport problem is in Chicago, New York, and Boston. What's the connection here?
Well, the connection is the entire nation now knows by your very numbers there in your poll that this is a national problem. Who thought this up? Who wants to house migrants in an airport? Our worst terrorist attack in history originated in airports. The most vulnerable time of a flight is takeoff and landing. If someone was to smuggle a shoulder-fired weapon into one of these migrant holding areas, it would be an easy takedown of a jetliner. This is an idea that is crazy. This is absolutely unacceptable.
Well, but you know what's interesting, Congressman, about this? It's almost laughable if it wasn't so sad, is the fact that the airport isn't where all the migrants are flooding into. It's the southern border. That is your state. You know, and Governor Abbott is continuing his fight and basically taking care of business on his own. Now he's building a facility down there for troopers. He's trying to get the National Guard more involved. I mean, where's the focus for that?
Well, Texas is doing its job because the federal government will not, because the federal government refuses to do that. But you notice that the cartels have also moved the flow over to Arizona and California. So it works. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to be serious about it. You have to do something. Governor Abbott is doing that, and we're seeing the results in Texas. The cartel is reacting to it.
Well, I do want to bring in Tiana Lodesher. She's on set with me here in New York. She's got a question for you, Tiana.
I want to ask about the fracas in the House last week when your colleague Mike Turner leaked about this national security crisis that apparently Speaker Johnson was sitting on. I want to ask you about a tweet you sent. You said that in your time at the Pentagon, you worked with highly classified information, and that leak should have never happened. And you linked it to the FISA 702 reauthorization debate. FISA, for all of our viewers know, is how the deep state was able to spy on the Trump campaign during 2016. It's domestic surveillance, often warrantless surveillance. Why do you think that leak was made public? And was the goal to try and just whip the votes for a clean reauthorization of this arguably unconstitutional FISA 702?
Absolutely. That's all it was. It was a leak that was designed to convince the members of Congress that we had to do something, that we had to have a clean reauthorization of Section 702. Will not vote for that until we get a warrant in the reauthorization. You must have a judicial review and a judicial warrant before you can collect the data or you can use the data from U.S. citizens. This is a privacy issue, and we cannot allow the FBI to look at data of Americans without a warrant. It is a simple minimum requirement.
I want to move on to another national security issue, and this is the issue with regards to NATO and certainly of Russia and the death of Alexei Navalny on Friday. You know, President Biden got mixed up, basically, while urging House lawmakers to pass this $95 billion Senate foreign aid bill. I want you to listen to what the president said.
So the idea that we're going to walk away from Ukraine, the idea that we're going to let NATO begin to split is totally against the interests of the United States of America. So it's about time we make sure that Congress come home and pass the legislation funding NATO.
The president saying funding NATO. He meant to say funding Ukraine. People get mixed up, certainly, but I do want to get your thoughts on that. And then also, look, our relationship with NATO is becoming more crucial because you've now got the Russians potentially with either a nuclear weapon or some type of weapon that could take out satellites, which could polarize and basically handicap operations not just in the United States, but also in India and China, according to the New York Times?
Cheryl, it's real simple. The southern border should be our focus. Until we close the southern border, there is a group that says no funding, and that includes no Ukraine funding. This is a very simple process. We've got to take care of our own border, and frankly, I think the fact that we are not passing the Ukraine funding and have not for several months, Germany has now announced they are going to meet their 2% GDP funding for their defense, and they might go to 3.5%, depending. So Germany is starting to react. As long as the United States is going to carry the burden, Germany and France are going to let us do that. As soon as they realize they better step up to the plate, and I think we're starting to see them do that. They're realizing we better up our game in Ukraine because the United States is not going to carry the entire load because we've got to secure our own southern border. And then the National Defense Authorization Act pivoted our defense toward China. So Germany and France need to step up and carry more of the burden.
But, you know, with regards to, and this is in the New York Times reporting, that the fact that they're saying that Secretary of State Antony Blinken actually was reaching out. This is before it was revealed, the information about the Russian plan, the Russian weapon, that basically Blinken wanted to keep this quiet under wraps because he was reaching out to India and to China to tell them, look, it's not just going to be U.S. satellites that are going to be knocked out of the sky. It's going to be yours as well. Does that kind of bolster the case that maybe this information should not have been made public the way that it was?
Well, it shouldn't have been. I can't talk about the material because I received the extremely classified briefing on it, but I can talk about absolutely this should not have been. I was in code word programs in the Pentagon. I can't even name the programs, much less what they did. That's the level we're talking about here. This was a fireable offense by Mike Turner. This is unconscionable. It is probably illegal. It should not have happened.
Congressman Keith Self, thank you for your commentary this morning and for joining us. We appreciate it.